Alright, how's everybody doing? We're back to part 2 of the first night's assignments. Again, nice thing is there's fewest questions, but man, are these really long questions. They're going to take a bit of work. I will probably have to scroll down here just to get everything done. These are a lot of work. That's why, again, there's not that many questions to do. So the idea is we are going to, let's say we look at number 6 here, okay? So, yeah, I'm going to have to write out the whole thing. So number 6, I'm going to do this in black ink so we can start with just normal neutral color. So we have 2x plus y minus 2z equals -1. And I may just make this bigger so we can see the whole thing and have more room to write. 3x minus 3y minus z is equal to 5. And then we have x minus 2y. It's a y, and it's going to bother me. So minus 2y plus 3z is equal to 6. So make sure you got everything right, because you don't want to get it wrong just because you wrote something down wrong. So I think we're good. All right, I'm going to make this not that big. Okay, let's go back. I'm just going to scroll this over so I can... Apparently it just wants to zoom in every time I do that, and I don't want to make it that big. Let's see if there's a way to make this smaller. There is not. Okay. Well, awesome. Nope, not what I want to do. Let's see if I can just do that. That might be better. Anywho, so my goal, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use one of these variables to get rid of the other. Okay, so what I mean is I could use, and really what I want to do is I want to find a variable with a coefficient of 1. So it could be this one, or even this one. -1's just as fine. Okay, but I don't really want to worry about that. So I could do this or this. Usually we'll just go get rid of x first. It just seems the easiest way to do it is get rid of x first. So I'm going to use this third equation. Okay, so this is the third equation. I'm going to use that to get rid of the x's in the other two. Now when I get rid of those x's, I'm not going to bother with this third equation anymore. I'm going to kind of leave this off to the side. Okay, so this equation is just going to kind of go away until the end. And then once again I got rid of these x's, I'm going to have a 2x2 system, which is back to what we did in the first lesson of 5.1. So to do that, I'm going to do this first one in blue. All right, so 2x plus 1y minus 2z equals -1. Now, since again I want to get rid of that 2x, I'm going to multiply this whole thing by -2. Okay, so let's erase that. I don't need that anymore. Or that one. Or that. So, all right. So I'm going to multiply this whole equation by -2. So it's going to give me -2x plus 4y minus 6z equals -12. So when I add these together, that's gone. And I'm left with 5y minus 8z equals -13. There we go. Okay, I got rid of one variable, so I got first one done. So let's change this to, let's change back to purple because I like purple. It's pretty. All right. So now I'm going to get rid of this 3. So I'm going to use this equation again. I don't really need that 2 anymore. Good thing I'm taking video of this. So now to get rid of that 3, I'm going to multiply it by -3. That way it's going to cancel out that 3. So we have 3x minus 3y minus z is equal to 5. And distributing the -3 through, -3x, positive 6y, -9z equals -18. So when I add these together, the 3's are gone. I'm left with 3y minus 10z equals negative 13. All right, so I'm going to scroll down here. So what I have now is a system of 2 by 2 equation of 5y minus 8z equals negative 13, and 3y minus 10z equals negative 13 again. So now my goal is to do either substitution or elimination. I'm going to choose to do elimination. To do that, I'm going to multiply basically this top row by negative 3 and the bottom row by negative 5. That way I cancel out the y's. So negative 3 times the top row, negative 5 times the bottom row. And again, if all else fails, you can just always multiply by the other number and then change the signs. Wait, I need one to be positive, so I'm going to make this top one positive. Doesn't really matter because I need to cancel these out, so one's going to be positive, one's going to be negative. So that's going to get me 15y minus 24z equals negative 39. And then negative 15y, so the y is going to cancel, plus 50z is equal to, that is a 65. So, all right. So when I add these together, the y's cancel. That's going to give me 26z is equal to, hey, 26. That's nice. Z is equal to 1. That's nifty. All right, so I'm going to put z here. It doesn't matter. Let's use the bottom equation. It seems a bit easier. So 3y minus 10 times 1 equals negative 13. 3y minus 10 equals negative 13 plus 10, that's a 10. That gives you 3y is equal to negative 3, which means y equals negative 1. All right, so far my equation has, don't know what x is, but y is negative 1, z is positive 1, and this is your ordered triplet, okay, of x, y, z. So x, y, and z. Now, what I'm going to do is go to the top. I'm going to pick one of these equations. Does not matter which one. Might as well use this bottom equation because x has already got 1. All I have to do is solve for x. So I'm going to use that bottom equation, and I'm going to plug in negative 1 for y and positive 1 for z. And I just did that with my pen, so I got to go over here. So that bottom equation, if I remember, is x. Let me change this back to blank. So we have x minus 2y plus 3z is equal to 6. Let's make sure I got that right. Yep. So now that y is negative 1, I get x minus 2 times negative 1 plus 3 times 1 equals 6. So it becomes x plus 2 plus 3 equals 6. X plus 5 equals 6. X is equal to 1. And there is my solution. All right. So that is how you're going to do each and every one of these. Yes, you can see it is work. Lots of work here. Okay. So it's going to take some time to do these. Feel free to take your time. Because, nothing else to do. You're quarantined at home. So you can't say you have other stuff to do except for other classwork. And mine's more important anyway. So now you have the recording. Oops, I should edit that out. I should hide the truth. All right. Let me see. I'm going to do one more of these. So I'll just close it. I don't really want to save it. So I'm going to do one more of these. Let's look at one like number 12 and 13 to where you start to see some variables disappear already. So if the variables are gone, then sorry, got a text. So the variables are gone, then we don't have to worry about them. Okay, in fact, I may want to get rid of that y here using that y. And I have x and z left over, and I just solve for x and z. So the nice part is it kind of gives us an easy way to get rid of a variable. I want to get rid of one variable instead of two. All right. So like here, number 13, you already have z by itself. Well, just get rid of one of these. Doesn't matter which one. Okay. If you want to add this to this equation, and then whatever's left over, you solve with a 2 by 2 here. Feel free to do that. Not an issue. Okay. So I'm going to do this number 12. Yep, just go to number 12. And if we have any other questions, I will do some more practice questions if I see everybody. If you have a question, put it on the discussion board. So let's go here. Put it on the discussion board here. So I don't care which class you're in because I'm doing this for both classes. So again, you have the option to comment, like 5.2, add class comment. You can comment on any one of these saying, please help me with number whatever, and I will make a short video of trying to do that question with you guys. Or just do that question for you guys so you can see how it's done. So don't stress it. If you can't get one done, just put in the comments saying, I could not figure this one out. And I will do my best either to give you a good example of it, or if I can't find a good example, just to go ahead and do that one. All right, so back here. We're looking at number 12. So I'll zoom in here so I can see it nice and clear. So when I create my note, that's nice and big. So let's get over here. So I have x plus z equals 3 first. So x plus z is equal to 3 first. And then x plus 2y minus z equals 1. X plus 2y minus z is equal to 1. And then I have 2x minus y plus z is equal to 3. So 2x minus y plus z is equal to 3. All right, there's my equation. Kind of wrote it nice and small. This is number 12, at least as small as I could. It's a bit easier. So I'm just going to leave this one alone, okay? And I'm going to use, let's say I'm going to use this y here to get rid of that one. Okay, so I'm going to multiply this whole row by 2 so I can make that negative 2. All right, so it's going to give me x plus 2y minus z is equal to 1, and then 2 times everything. Oh, don't forget everything. 4x minus 2y, that's a y, plus 2z equals 6. So when I add this together, the y's cancel. 5x, go away, I didn't want you, plus z is equal to 7. So now I have two equations. All right, I have x plus z is equal to 3, and 5x plus z equals 7. All right, so that seems easy. I'm going to get rid of the z because it's really easy to get rid of z here. I could get rid of the 5, but I'm going to get rid of the z and say multiply this top one by negative 1. So that's going to become negative 1x, negative 1z equals negative 3. That gives me 4x equals 4. So x equal to 1. All right. See, it's really not that bad. It's actually kind of easier to do that, to do this one, because we already have y solved for here. So I'm going to plug this in here and solve for z, because might as well. Okay. So what plus 1 gives you 3? So 1 plus z equals 3, which means z has to be 2. All right. So now I know I have 1. I don't know what y is. 2. So let's say I'm going to plug this into this equation here, this middle equation. So x plus 2y minus z is equal to 1. And since x is 1, so 1 plus 2y minus 2 equals 1. So 1 plus 2y minus 2 equals 1. Combine like terms, 2y minus 1 equals 1. 2y, if I add 1 over, equals 2. So y is equal to 1. And there's your answer. All right. I think I will look at one more. You have one I just noticed seems really challenging, so I might as well do a good example for you. You know, be a decent teacher for once. So let me give you a really good example of one of the harder questions on here that I'm seeing. I'm going to close this. Again, any questions? I really want to ask. Any questions? Are we doing okay? We're doing good? I don't know. Just pause the video if you're having a question. Or again, put a question on the chat section of Google Classroom. Okay. So, yeah, moving on. Let's look at number 10, which is a lot like number 9. That's the only one, because if you notice a lot of these, like 5, you can easily get rid of x, y, or z. With 7, you can get rid of x, y, or z, again, either way, because you have a 1, 1, and 1 here. When you get to number 9, you don't see a lot of 1s. I don't see a lot of 1s and 10s, so it's going to be a little trickier to get rid of it. And you're going to have some really large numbers, and that's fine. It's okay. So let's make a note. I have it off to the side here, so I can just write it over here. So create note. I'm just going to make a big note. Just go ahead and send it all out so I can make this easier. Number 10 has 2x plus 3y plus 7z. So 2x plus 3y plus 7. That's not a 7. Z equals 13. And then we have 3x plus 2y minus 5z equals negative 22. And then we have 5x plus 7, that's not a 7, 7y minus 3z is equal to negative 28. So here, again, I don't have a lot of 1s to work with. It's so much easier to multiply things by 1, okay, because it's just itself. So I'm going to play around. Looking at this, looks like I'm going to want to get, or it doesn't make a difference. You can pick whatever letter you want. I'm just going to start with x, okay? So I'm going to use this top one. I'm just going to use the smallest one. Seems, fair enough to use the smallest one to get rid of the other x's, okay? Now to do that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to multiply this by negative 3. So let's do this in red so I know what I'm going to do. I'm going to multiply this row by negative 3 and this row by 2. That way they are going to cancel out. Now in the last row, I'm going to multiply this by 2, but I'm going to multiply this one by negative 5. Okay, so in red, you're going to multiply by 3, and purple, I'm going to multiply by negative 5. So let's do this. So negative 3 up top, negative 3 through is negative, I'll do this down here. Kind of make a little section here. So this is negative 6x, negative 9y, negative 21z equals negative 39. All right, and then we have positive 6x, positive 4y, negative 10z equals negative 44. So here we get some really big numbers here. And that's fine. It's okay to have big numbers. I know a lot of people get scared when they see a lot of large numbers, like, oh, I must have done something wrong. No, that's just the way this is going to go. Okay, so combining this, we get negative 5 when I add together. Negative 5y, negative 31z equals, okay, 13, carry the 1, negative 83. That's pretty big. It's kind of that's kind of gross, but I'm going to tell you it's going to work out fine. Okay, all your answers, I'm getting guaranteed, all your answers are whole numbers. Okay, you check the back of the book, assuming you brought your book home. But yeah, all your answers are going to be whole numbers. So the only time you know you're getting something wrong is if your final answer is a decimal or a fraction. Okay, on these anyway. On the previous 5.1 questions, I think you have at least one question that has decimals or fractions. Maybe. Okay, so that one's okay. All right, so let's do purple. I said in purple, I'm going to multiply this top row by negative 5 and the bottom row by 2. That's going to be negative 10x, negative 15y, negative 35z equals negative 65. That needs to go away. Okay. Now in the bottom row, it's going to be 10x, so that cancels out. Plus 14y. Well, that's kind of nice. It's going to be a negative 1. That should be able to get rid of y pretty easily. Negative 6z equals 2 times 28 is 56, so negative 56. Ugh, adding these together. Okay. That cancels. Negative 1y. That's a y. It is, I promise. It is now anyway. Minus 41z equals negative 121. That's awful. All right, it'll be fine. Everything's okay. All right, so this is what we have so far. All right, I don't know if I'm trying to ensure that you are okay with this, because yeah, there's pretty big numbers here, or just ensure myself that I'm doing this right. I'm pretty sure I'm doing this right. Everything's okay. All right, so here's my equation I have so far. Now I have a 2x2 system, which again is the whole point. I use one of the variables to break this down to a 2x2, which is negative 5y minus 31z equals negative 83. And then negative 1y minus 41z equals negative 121. Now, obviously, I'm going to use the y's to cancel out. I'm going to multiply this bottom row by negative 5 to make that a positive 5. I wouldn't use the z's. That doesn't make sense to use the z's. So, yeah, there we go. Moving on. So, negative 5y, I don't multiply the top by anything because that's a negative 1. 31z equals negative 83. Positive 5y, positive, and this is gross, 205z equals, look at that, 50, positive 605. Again, it's okay. Everything's fine. All right, don't be scared. And there's some of you, I get a feeling. I can just see your face. Good Lord, look at this. Okay, it's fine. All right, it'll work out. So this reduces to 74z equals 2, that's a 2, 522. And if I multiply this by 3, guess what I get? Or divide by 174. I get z is equal to 3. Told you it'd work out. Okay, told you it'd work out. So what I got to do here is plug that in. I'm going to plug in this top one, this bottom one right here, because y is only negative 1. In fact, if I want to write it as y plus 41z equals positive 121, and then say z is 3, so y plus 41 times 3 equals 121, y plus 123 equals 121, which means y equals negative 2. All right, so far, I know my answer. I don't know what x is, negative 2, positive 3, and I got to go back into one of these equations. Let's say the top equation, 2x plus 3y plus 7z, the original first equation, equals 13, and I'm going to plug in negative 2 and positive 3. All right, so 2x plus 3 times negative 2 plus 7 times 3 equals 13. 2x minus, and that's an x, minus 6 plus 21 equals 13. Scroll down a bit. 2x plus 15 equals 13. 2x equals negative 2 if you subtract that 15 over. So x is negative 1. 1, 2, 3. Just a little different. Isn't that nice? Alright, so yeah, you do have one question that's going to be a bit of a bugger. It's only one question, okay? Again, try to get your homework done, because I'm going to figure out some way to give you guys a quiz or test on this, because I don't really have much of a choice. This is the 1818 courses. I got to make sure you actually cover everything. SLU is still mandating that we teach everything, and that I'm still responsible that we cover all the material. So this is going to be fun, right? All right, so this is the practice work. I'll upload this as well as the video of the PowerPoint lesson and me going over the PowerPoint lesson. But to be honest, I think the practice is enough. But whatever helps. All right, that is it for tonight. I will look at the next 2 lessons on Wednesday. I should have all that posted for you on Thursday. So